Hi, welcome back to Nonprofit Human Resources. This is lesson 4A, and this lesson is going to be focused on employee development and training. So one of the principles that is used in good management is what's called this Blake and Mountain managerial grid. And the idea is that you have to balance concern for people with concern for results. So a lot of you work in organizations that are under-resourced or serving at-risk communities. And what happens is you can have the biggest heart in the world, but it's the environment's pushing you into this space that's called the produce or perish management. And you just don't have enough time to show, the concern for people or, the environment is pushing them. So what you want to do is you want to try to have this, what they call team management. And that's ultimately your goal. So one big part of that is in staff development. Now, some of it is going to be relational, some of it's going to be in staff development and training. So just to give a spiritual perspective on staff development, are you burning out employees for the sake of clients? So I would call that the codependent model. You end up being overly client-centered. Are your employees thriving, but they're distant from clients who are suffering? And that would be an overly staff-centered model. And sometimes that happens in the government where you got people who are getting paid big salaries, but they may or may not, really be making a big difference with their clients. And are you ministering to stakeholders at all levels to promote their growth and well-being? So that's what I would say is the balance model. We view ministry as everyone around you should be ministering to, right? So serving essentially. So key question in that is, how are you investing in staff? And another key question is, are you not 100% legally compliant because of lack of training? So let's just talk about some mechanisms to support staff and development. So one is just supervision and mentoring. That's where a lot of it happens in a lot of Christian organizations. This is one of the best benefits. You have gifted people who are gifted pastorally, or and they're providing great supervision and mentoring. And then the other one, and I put mentoring twice because one might come from the supervisor, but the other might come from the larger community. So you might have staff meetings, or you might have prayer times, or you might have, groups where you go through the, Bible study or go through a book. Then another mechanism is professional development plans. A lot of most organizations, and the best practice is that employees once a year at least update their professional development plan, sometimes during their employee evaluation, sometime at a different time. A lot of organizations, and this is the most common, will have in-house training and spiritual development. So they'll have a workshop for their staff, or have their staff go through a book together. But increasingly, especially for more established organizations, educational benefits are becoming a key category. So we're very familiar with that because we're an educational institution, so we can go kind of a little bit deeper in that. So there's a study that was done, or a survey that was done of organizations, and out of all the organizations that participated in this survey, and my guess is a little bit biased towards larger organizations, but 92% had some sort of educational benefit. So the most common was having some sort of tuition assistance, reimbursement. The other next most common was having in-house training seminars. Then attendance at educational conferences, 51%, continuing education courses. So that would be non-accredited courses, but you might need to say continue to work for your certified public accountant license or CPA license or something. Coverage for licensing courses and exams, personal development courses. So that again might not be accredited, but you might need to learn how to do coding or something along those lines. 529 college savings plans was the lowest, and then student loan repayment assistance. Now, it's worth stating that in terms of educational employee benefits and training, City Vision has a free site that we launch. So we are providing full versions of some of our courses on City Vision Institute. We're actually going to be adding this human resources course to this site. So And what you can do is you can have your staff, your volunteers, your program participants go through this. We've had over 15,000 people take our free courses, and this could be a part of your training plan. So that's at cityvisioninstitute.org. You can go there directly, or if you want to go through our website, it's actually down here. The arrow's in the wrong place. City Vision Institute, where we provide free staff training. It's under the partnering section. So now another thing, for some organizations, one of the biggest trends is tuition reimbursement programs. So there's been a lot of research on those for organizations that do have tuition reimbursement programs. They've looked up, how long has the tuition reimbursement program existed? So 57% of organizations have had them between 6 and 20 years, and 27% have had for 21 years or more. The most common reimbursement policy is 87% will reimburse at the end of the study. So that would be at the end of a course if employees meet certain requirements. Often that's having a certain grade. The rescue mission that we have a partnership with, they have, I think they require an A or B in the course. And the most common reimbursement amount to employees is between $5,000 and $5,999. There's actually a limit on tax breaks for that. So, and one other common aspect of the reimbursement policy is that a lot of organizations say if you leave within a year after obtaining the educational reimbursement, they require payback. And part of it is that creates an employee retention incentive. So the benefit to employers of employee tuition reimbursement programs. So the biggest one's employee retention. So organizations with tuition assistance report an increase of applicants by 20%, but retention by 10 to 40%. And that's different studies that have been done, with a 21% increase in promotions. Now, that's a really big deal for organizations that want to promote from within. A lot of faith-based organizations is really important to have values alignment, and it can be hard to find enough organization or enough people who have values alignment or with your organization. So promoting from within, and that also supports Indigenous leadership development. And the studies that have been done have shown that the return on investment for every dollar put in, you end up getting $2.29 back, essentially, in terms of long-term return on investment. It can also be helpful for fundraising. One of our partners has raised a very large amount of money towards an educational fund to fund scholarships for both staff and program participants. Funders love to give towards things that is going to educate people and to get them a job. And as I mentioned, this values alignment, in addition to promoting from within, if you're partnering with an organization that has shared values like City Vision, it can help ministries and nonprofits with that. So some of the tuition reimbursement policies and procedures, best practices, define which employees are eligible for tuition reimbursement. Consider whether making a passing grade on a course is eligible for reimbursement. Provide a process or form to require approval. Determine what will happen when an employee leaves early. And we actually provide a template in this week of an organization that we partnered with, how their policies and processes and all their forms they use for that. So one key thing to think about for educational benefits to ensure they're tax deductible, they're limited to $5,250. So this is all based in the United States, unless it's required for a job. So if your job requires that you be a licensed professional counselor, it can go above that. The plan can't just favor highly paid employees. You must give reasonable notice of the program. So you can't just put it in your manual, but you don't want anyone to use it. So you say you have it, but no one ever uses it because they don't know it's there. So you need to send out an email or make an announcement or something. You can't receive cash. You can't say, well, if you take this, then you can have $5,000, but if you don't take it, you just get $1,000 worth of cash. They must relate to the employer's benefit or the employer's business. So if you're running a Christian nonprofit that serves the poor, and someone wants to get a master's degree in chemistry, most likely that's not going to relate, right? So just give an overview of what City Vision's Education as Employee Benefit Program basically it's for any nonprofit organization that has a tuition reimbursement program for its employees and lists City Vision as a recommended partner. We'll provide a scholarship to your employees. So at least as of this recording, tuition will only cost $500 per course or $5,000 per year for undergraduate and graduate programs. City Vision, as I mentioned, we provide sample templates and forms. If you're interested in learning more about this, then you can go to our website, and then you just go to this section that says Educational Employee Benefits Program. So 2 examples of organizations that we've worked with that have educational employee benefits. One is St. Matthew's House. They've, in the past 3 years, have sent us 33 students. They're providing actually 2 faculty members. So one last year and then one this year. And the executive director of St. Matthew's House is grown the organization tremendously over the past 10 years. It's, I think, more than doubled. And we've been a key part of them being able to handle that growth. Another organization, Souls Harbor Rescue Mission, it was founded by a City Vision student. She helped found 2 rescue missions and had 20 plus students and interns. And St. Matthew's House has also sent us about a third of the students are coming from their recovery program. So I think the key takeaway in this is invest in your employees and they'll stay longer. It's a good way to keep your employees longer, and they'll do a better job. So hopefully this session has been helpful. And again, if you have any questions, ask your faculty. Thanks.